Welcome back to Astrovision, Spirituality, and Tarot. So today we're going to be going over Rihanna's natal birth chart. And Rihanna is a Pisces, as you guys already know if you're a fan of hers. If you're a part of the Navy, shout out to you. So she was born February 20th, 1988 at 8:50 a.m. according to AstroSeek. And she is from Bridgetown, Barbados, Jamaica. So, as you guys already know, she relocated to the United States at 16 years old to begin working in her occupation as a musician. And she started her career really, really early, as a lot of them did who work in Hollywood, which she's been prominent and been dominant in that field for such a long time. I can't believe Rihanna is as young as she is. I definitely would have thought she was like in her 40s, but not coming for her looks, because she does not appear to be 40 at all looks wise in that department. But I just would have thought she was a little older. She definitely does carry herself to be very mature, and some of that can be determined within her birth chart, which we're going to talk about now. So you guys know that Rihanna is a Pisces. Now, with her having a sun in Pisces, a lot of Pisces tend to operate within artistic fields. So whatever it is, sculpting, doing anything within modeling, painting, music, playing instruments, it doesn't matter what it is. A Pisces could really amplify the whole artistic field, and Hollywood is represented by the sign Pisces. So with her sun being positioned in the 11th house, it charges her ego with some of that Aquarius energy, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So that gives her this unapologetic bad girl type of vibe. She's very unapologetic and wears her emotions on her sleeve. A lot of Pisces, it's difficult for them to hide their emotions. They just tend to be very vulnerable to a lot of energies that are around them, which causes them to escape. A lot of the water signs, they tend to escape. They have their different ways for doing it. And with Pisces, they tend to escape with the pills, with the weed, the liquid spirits, all of that stuff. And Rihanna allegedly is no stranger when it comes to the party favors. Allegedly, her little thing of choice was that little white powder. So, take that as you will, do whatever you want with it. Now, with Pisces, they just need to escape, and if they can't do it, they can't run away from whatever it is that's bothering them, then they're going to do it with some type of metaphysical device. And it could be liquid spirits, it could be party favors, it could be the pills and the weed, all of that stuff. And it just has to do with them masking their pain and them needing some type of temporary fix, because Pisces are very vulnerable, not only to the energy around them, but spirits too. So these people can be hosts for spirits. Now, something to be aware of with Rihanna's sun being in the 11th house, it's sextiling Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, and Saturn. And this is definitely where the gold is at within her natal birth chart, because this plays a key role with her identity, especially in the public, because the 11th house kind of deals with the public, different organizations, different groups. This really gives her some of those likable qualities for people to like her. So they're going to see her as this spicy hot tamale that's exotic and foreign, just with those sextiling planets that she has working within her favor. Because if you don't know how sextiles work within a birth chart, especially if they're well aspected, sextiles are indicators of natural talent or traits within someone's personality and within their natal chart. And Rihanna has some well aspected sextiling planets positioned with her sun, where her sun is placed, which makes her, a voice for the people. It just makes her a very magnetic celebrity. Since hers is well aspected, she's going to have more of the favorable traits amongst Pisces and more of the well-liked traits, especially with that Uranus. She's just definitely going to be a people person, a voice for the people. And this does play a role with her being able to score that Persian prince, because that Pisces energy has some flavors to it, to where they can be seen as royalty. They can be looked at as charmers and very guarded. Pisces can represent guardianship, and they represent that princess and prince energy within the astrological wheel. She's going to be seen as American royalty, even though she's foreign, and that Jupiter influence plays a role with her being foreign. Now, Rihanna's ascendant is Aries, and I just put out Cardi B's video, and Cardi B is also an Aries woman with a poorly conflicted Aries ascendant. So you guys Definitely check that out if you're interested. But her ascendant, her ruler is in the ninth house of Sagittarius. With both of these energies aspecting the sun, it's going to expose these things to the 11th house because her sun is in the 11th house. So a lot of that 11th house energy is going to be on the forefront, and the 11th house deals with communication through sophisticated devices such as the microphone, such as computers, technology, blogs, entertainment, all of that stuff. So since she's a celebrity and she has this well aspected energy, this does play a role with her being a household name because she has some well aspected placements working in her favor. And Uranus rules over communication, it rules over the public, but also Saturn produces that longevity effect. It produces her being able to build and accumulate things over time. And Jupiter, you're going to expand upon that, but Mars deals with aggression, it deals with confidence, it deals with self-assurance. Now, back on the topic of Rihanna's ascendant, and with Rihanna being an Aries ascendant, usually these people are viewed as eye candy. They're very scandalous, and since they're a fire sign, they're going to like to take their clothes off. So, since she's a fire sign, she's definitely the type to like pain. Pain is pleasure when it comes to these fire signs and these deep water signs. So she's definitely going to like the tattoos and all of that. But that could be because she's masking something. She's masking some scars, that also takes place with these fire signs and with these water signs. The water signs, they like to pierce their skin and do things like that. And with Aries, they just tend to have a lot of battle scars in general. So that plays a role with the tattoos and wanting to pierce her skin and get all these crazy colorful hairstyles. Since she just has all of this Aries energy, she's going to be projecting how she feels outward in a lot of departments within a lot of houses. Her moon is in an Aries position. She has Venus in Aries and a couple other positions that are occupying with the flavor of Aries. So Rihanna is definitely a hot tamale and a very spicy chick, and I wouldn't want to go back and forth with her because Aries tend to react quicker than they think, and they'll definitely snuff your ass out. They're good with the reflexes, especially if they got some air thrown in the mix. So I don't doubt, especially with her being a Caribbean chick, that she knows how to throw them hands. She's a fighter. I'm pretty sure she good with them weapons too. Aries deals with the weaponry, all of that. So I'm pretty sure she know how to load things up and assemble things and put things together and, put her finger on triggers and let things blow. I'm pretty sure she is all about that. She's all about that life. I could see it happening and going down with her, especially just because Aries, they tend to be very sexy, right? But at the same time, they're very dangerous. They're very dangerous, they're very scandalous and risky, and they're risk takers. They don't care. They tend to like to be the first and like to be leaders and like to do things first. So that comes with a big risk. With Rihanna having this ascendant, this definitely charges her with some masculine energy, some cocky energy, some very conceited energy. And I remember back then, there were rumors about people saying Rihanna was a tranny or she was a male to female experiment, and that plays a role with that Uranus sextiling her sun, but also this Mars ascendant can play a role with that as well. You women with this ascendant can appear very masculine, and since Rihanna is a Pisces, she's going to look very alien-like, and that Uranus can play a role with her looking very alien-like as well. And she has Saturn, so that plays a role with strong bones and you looking very strong, very Roger from American Dad in the face. If you guys watch American Dad and you know that alien Roger, yeah, that plays a role with people looking like that. And another thing to note with Rihanna's Jupiter sextiling her sun, that plays a role with her having multiple citizenships. So she's definitely a global celebrity. She's worldwide, all over the world, and that just points to her global impact, especially with Saturn sextiling her sun. That can specifically point to her reputation being solidified within the public. It also can point to Rihanna being affiliated into a high-class group or some type of secret religion that isn't well known, that's probably ran by government officials and high-profile citizens of society. So she definitely could be affiliated within that group that I'm not going to name on my channel, but y'all probably know what I'm talking about. And with her having those sextiling planets aspecting her sun in the 11th house, that Pisces in the 11th house, that can deal with her being a victim in the public or just, her story being a victimized storyline. The 11th house deals with publications. When that Chris Brown situation took place, it was everywhere. It was in every blog, it was on every TV program. He had to come on television multiple times and apologize. But also, since she has Saturn trining this position as well, she could get away with a lot of shit in the public. A lot of stuff that she does gets swept under the rug, basically, and it's stuff that's hidden. Pisces tend to operate behind the scenes. In public, they tend to be catfish. They move a certain type of way to where everything is deceptive and you don't really know what's going on. You're not getting a clear picture. But behind the scenes, that's where, they're shining. That's where they're really working and operating, scheming, plotting, and doing all of that dark shit. She very much so could be getting away with shit, getting a smack on the wrist when it comes to her affiliations. Maybe since she's rich, she just has to pay a little fee or something like that. With her being a Pisces, she can just play the role of being a victim and turn on the puppy dog eyes, and wherever the cameras are at, all she has to do is look in them and people are going to believe, because this is well aspected energy and it's in that 11th house, the house of the public, the house of the people. The 10th house is reputation and it is the house of the public as well, but she has Saturn strongly, positively aspecting her sun. So she's good in that department. You know what I'm saying? Not to say she's not a victim of any situation that has happened, because Pisces often are victims of abuse and torture. So she's going to have an easier ride surrounding those type of things within her career. She's going to be well protected. She's a great asset within her industry. And since it's sextiling her Pisces sun, it's easy for her to play the victim role. A lot of Pisces can easily get away with that, even though they are victims of actual torture and actual abuse. They do attract it, especially if you're on the lower vibration of that energy and you're just moving real shiesty out here. You can attract people who want to abuse you and want to hurt you and torture you and things like that. With her having those positions and these sextiling placements, you really can't be mad at the fact that she's very much so protected. Plus, she's a billionaire, and that Capricorn midheaven does point to that, and it can determine her billionaire status. Now, something to note is that her Capricorn midheaven also squares her Aries moon, and it's squaring her Aries and Venus and sextiling her Pluto, which falls in the 7th house. But her Pluto is at home under the sign of Scorpio. So with that, she definitely is going to be a little freaky chick and going to be down to be dirty, get spit on, get pinched, get licked and tickled and gagged and choked. That's Scorpio's lane. Scorpio is with all that freaky nasty stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're with all of that stuff. They like to get spit in the mouth. They like to get cum all over their face. They're into that stuff. That's a Scorpio's vibe. For real. And with her having Scorpio in the 7th house and Pluto is there, she's definitely a nasty girl. She's a little nasty one. She probably got a handful of little hidden partners. I'm pretty sure. She got a little mysterious body count going on that nobody knows about. All type of flavors of the rainbow is within her body count. But with that Capricorn squaring that Aries moon and squaring that Aries and Venus, this can deal with her not really caring about her fans. I'm just keeping it so real. She probably do not care about her fans, but is making money off of y'all insecurities. That square does deal with you being a little less caring about this type of energy. And since she has Venus squaring her Aries energy, and she's an Aries chick, she got all of this Aries energy. Even though she's a Pisces, she got most of this Aries influence within her chart. So she is very masculine. I don't believe that she really gives a care about her customers and her fans and things like that. She cares about them dollars, and she cares about that fast money. Aries, they're about that fast money. You know what I'm saying? That's why her, with them singles, she's a singles girl. And with her putting out them singles versus the albums, singles make more sense for a chick like Rihanna with all this Aries, because she's gonna want that fast money. She don't want to wait and have to sit around at a desk and wait for her check to come in. No, she wants to be able to get that money the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. So touring, putting out singles, putting out the makeup, all of this fast dinero is for somebody like Rihanna, okay? And jumping back to her 7th house with this Pluto being in Scorpio, this can deal with her being overtly hypersexual and domineering to a point that it's like perverted. In partnerships, she definitely is overtly hypersexual and domineering. Scorpio, you know, it's a fixed sign, so they like their way, and since it's the 7th house, she likes to get her way over her partners. And y'all look at A$AP Rocky. She got this energy within the 7th house, so she's draining that man. She's sucking the life force out of that man. I'm so serious. Y'all gotta look at him. She is sucking the life force out of him, and she got Pluto in the 7th house, under the sign of Scorpio. So she's doing that to him. That's how she giving it up, and she taking it all away. For real. Whatever he done did to her in a past life, she is reaping them benefits now. She is taking his life force, for real, and she taking his baby. Also, she could be persuasive in the bedroom to the point that it's a little, you know, perverted. It's like, girl, why are you trying to put your finger there? Why are you trying to get me to do that? What do you get pleasure from out of me doing this? You know, that very much so could take place because that's how Scorpios get down and that's how they give it up. That is how they give it up. So with her having this energy, she likes all of that pain is pleasure type shit. She really does. And that very much so could take place here. With her being a Pisces, she very much so has to be careful of this because she could attract dudes who might want to abuse her, might want to torture her, might want to see her in chains and whips, and not in no pleasuring way. You know, Pisces people, they can attract very abusive people, so you got to be careful. But since she has a lot of fire within her chart, she's abusive as hell by herself, by her damn self. She's probably the type to cut the man that she lays with or whoever she gets involved with. She's probably the type to threaten them with a gun, you know, probably squeeze their balls a little too hard and tell them they mine. You know, she gives me that vibe. Even though people call her the pop princess or whatever, she got all this Aries energy, so she could be a mass manipulator. Especially with that Aries moon, she could be manipulating motherfuckers when it comes to her emotions on the surface. You know, definitely play that I'm hurt, I feel some type of way, like I'm gonna throw up, I'm sick. But deep down, nah, she not feeling like that. She just wants y'all to cater to her. That's what Pisces love. They love to be pampered and they love to be catered to and felt like a princess and felt like royalty. So when it comes to her love life, it's real dark. It's real dark, and she has the potential to be a widow, to be a succubus or a succubus. Like, she just has the potential to spit men out, really chew them up, take their life force and spit them back out and watch them suffer. Like, if you look at Chris Brown, like the pain and the suffering, if you just look at him, Chris Brown went from glowing and bright and just bubbly to being dull and twitching and fidgeting around and flopping around like a fish, like a dead fish. And she's a Pisces. So take that figurative speech how you will. Take that analogy how you will. She's a Pisces and she be making her men look like dead flopping fishes once they get in contact with her. I'm so serious. So she has that potential with that 7th house energy. Y'all got to be real cautious with a chick like this. Be real careful because she will impact your ass either in a positive way or the worst. You know, it's black or white with these Scorpios. There's no gray areas. So I'm not a fan of that because I don't like Scorpios at all. Like, if you watch some of my videos, then you know I don't like Scorpios. I don't fuck with them. Like, I have a Taurus stellium, so my energy is the polar opposite. Like, I just don't like Scorpios. I really don't. Also, guys, I noticed that this video has gotten long, so I am going to cut it short and make it 2 parts for you guys. So in this first part, I know that we touched on her sun sign, her moon sign, a bit of the midheaven, and a little bit of the 7th house, also her ascendant. So in the next video, we're going to touch on some other house placements, touch on some other planets, but for sure we're going to touch on that north node and that south node, and we're also going to jump back into her midheaven for a bit because within that space and that sector of her birth chart, there is definitely some energy that plays out to where she very much so can revert back to the island chick that she was before she came to the States and show people who she is. Or, you know, she can ride the wave and go with the flow. So we are going to chop this up here and regroup on the second part and continue where we left off in regards to her north node, her midheaven, her relationship status, and all of those other things that may be entertaining for you guys. So bear with me, stay tuned for that. I definitely am working on it now, and I should have that video out for you guys when I get around to it. Hopefully it will be sometime within this week, and hopefully it will shortly be released after the upload of this video. So wherever you are in this video, if you did make it to this announcement, thank you, shout out to you. Press subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely give this video a like, and comment down below a fire emoji, just cause, you know, if you did stay to the end, I do appreciate that. And I will see you guys in my next video.